China might be gearing up for a big showdown with India and the USA. President Xi Jinping has told his military to get ready for action at sea, to fight for China's rights on the ocean, and to boost their economy through maritime efforts. He's also pushing for stronger defenses in cyberspace to keep China safe online. This move shows China isn't just thinking about peace, it's preparing for potential conflicts, making the situation tense for its rivals, India and the USA. In simple terms, China is getting ready for a big conflict at sea against both India and the United States. The Chinese government has been very clear about getting ready for fights over the sea and making sure they can keep control over their sea areas while also growing their ocean economy. This is happening at a time when tensions are high in the South China Sea, with recent incidents involving the Chinese Coast Guard and Philippine ships. The Philippines, which has a defense agreement with the US, has been involved in a couple of recent conflicts at sea with China. Although the Philippines president hasn't asked for US help yet, there's a lot of worry about what might happen next. Meanwhile, China is also looking at India. They've made a secret security deal with the Maldives, which is near India, and this has made people nervous about China's intentions in the Indian Ocean. India, in response, is building up its navy, adding new ships, bases, and helicopters with anti-submarine abilities to keep an eye out for Chinese submarines. So what happened between the Philippines and China? If you've watched the video up to this point, for more insights and updates on this evolving situation, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The escalating tensions between the Philippines and China in the South China Sea have intensified, particularly around the Second Thomas Shoal, a region marked by strategic and territorial disputes. A recent encounter detailed by CNN journalists aboard a Philippine Coast Guard vessel illustrates the growing confrontations. The Philippine fleet, significantly outnumbered, was engaged in a resupply mission to the BRP Sierra Madre, a grounded World War II-era ship serving as a makeshift outpost on the contested reef, symbolizing Manila's territorial claims. This mission, however, turned perilous as the Philippine vessels encountered a large fleet of Chinese vessels, including the China Coast Guard and so-called maritime militia fishing vessels. The encounter escalated rapidly, with the Philippine boats facing aggressive maneuvers, including being blocked, surrounded, and attacked with water cannons, resulting in damage and injuries to the crew. China's stance remains firm, arguing that the Philippine vessels illegally intruded into its sovereign territory and that their response was a justified control measure against unlawful activities. The incident underlines China's broader strategy to assert its dominance over the South China Sea, ignoring international rulings against its expansive territorial claims and continuing its military build-up on various reefs and atolls. These actions not only challenge the sovereignty of neighboring Southeast Asian nations but also threaten the stability of one of the world's busiest maritime trade routes, through which over $3.4 trillion in trade transits annually. The ongoing disputes have drawn international attention, particularly from the United States, which maintains a mutual defense treaty with the Philippines. The treaty covers attacks on Philippine forces, vessels, or aircraft anywhere in the South China Sea, hinting at potential U.S. involvement should the situation escalate into armed conflict. This backdrop of international military presence and the potential for broader conflict underscores the geopolitical significance of the region beyond the immediate Philippine-Chinese tensions. Amid these tensions, the conditions and morale of the Philippine personnel stationed on the Sierra Madre and those involved in resupply missions are stark reminders of the human element in these territorial disputes. Living in challenging conditions, facing routine threats, and operating under the constant risk of confrontation, these individuals embody the front lines of a complex and potentially explosive international issue. In response to these incidents, calls for a clearer definition of armed attacks and for stronger international responses to China's actions have emerged. Without significant pushback or a reevaluation of current strategies, such confrontations are likely to continue, maintaining the South China Sea as a critical flashpoint in Asia-Pacific geopolitics. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi recently made a strong statement urging nations outside the South China Sea region, particularly pointing towards the United States and subtly to India, to avoid stirring up troubles in the contested waters. He emphasized that China has historically administered the islands and reefs in the South China Sea and highlighted the area's significance as a vital and unobstructed maritime lane facilitating immense global trade. Wang's comments, made during the National People's Congress, underlined the principle that disputes in the South China China Sea should be resolved through direct dialogue and negotiations between the involved states, suggesting that external intervention only complicates the situation. He attributed the sustained peace and stability in the region to the collaborative efforts between China and ASEAN member states. The foreign minister also addressed the confrontations with the Philippines, accusing it of provocation and breach of agreements, particularly concerning the grounded Filipino warship at Renai Jiao and the fishing rights near Huanyan Dao. These incidents have heightened tensions, with China alleging that the Philippines has violated international laws and abused the maritime dispute resolution mechanism. Wang Yi's statements reflect China's stance against external powers, notably the U.S., interfering in South China Sea matters. He argues that such interference emboldens the Philippines and disrupts regional stability. Moreover, the mention of joint military activities by the Philippines with countries like Australia and Japan indicates China's concern over forming alliances that could lead to regional confrontations. In essence, Wang Yi's remarks signaled China's resolve to safeguard its territorial sovereignty and maritime rights while advocating for regional dispute resolution mechanisms. He warns against the involvement of external nations like the USA and hints towards India, emphasizing that peace and stability in the region should be maintained through mutual respect and cooperation among the directly involved ASEAN countries. In conclusion, the rising tensions between the Philippines and China in the South China Sea underscore a larger geopolitical struggle involving major powers like the USA and India. The situation is fraught with potential for escalation, highlighting the need for diplomatic resolutions and regional cooperation. As China asserts its maritime claims, the international community watches closely, understanding the global economic and security implications. For more insights and updates on this evolving situation, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.